everyone, Jen Holt here at Inspired by Purpose to bring you your pose of the day. Today's pose is called Ardha Chandrasana, or half moon pose. This is a standing balance pose, so we get to work on our core strength, we get to work on our leg strength, our hips, our glutes, our feet, our ankles. We get some upper body strengthening, and we can get some stretch through the upper body, the shoulders, and the hips as well, depending on what variations we take. There are several things that you can use for this pose when you're just starting out. The wall is a great yoga prop. If you're just starting out with this pose, or if you've never done it against the wall, I would recommend you give it a try. I also have a chair here. It's a great prop, again, if you're just starting out. And I also have a yoga block here. You could use this or the chair, or if the chair isn't quite high enough, you can place the block on the chair to bring it up a little bit higher. But I'll show you where we're gonna go, and then you can figure out what props you want to use. So this pose is, the setup is a little bit similar to our setup for either Trikonasana or Warrior Two. The feet come wider apart, and then we turn a toe out. We want to get the hips aligned under the shoulders. So this is where the wall can really help. If you place your hips and your shoulders onto that wall, then it can really help you find this opening here. So we're coming into a hip opening by turning the toe out. You might take your hands on your hips for a moment, just thinking about standing up a little bit taller. And while we're here, we're gonna observe that space, that distance between the hip crease and the armpit. We wanna maintain long space here. We wanna maintain the space. We don't wanna start curving into it once we go into it, and I'll show you. So it's usually useful to take opposite left hand on the hip. That's just gonna help guide you into it. Then we're gonna take the right arm out, straight out. We'll shift a little bit more weight onto that right foot so you can bend the knee a little bit if you need. And then we'll bring the hand down to the chair, the block, or the block on the chair. As we shift more weight to that right foot, the left foot is gonna start to float up. And remember, we want to keep this distance here. So I'm a little short, a little shallow, so I need to bring my arm out so that I can extend through the spine, keeping my side body long. Otherwise, it makes it quite challenging because your foundation here isn't as wide and you're rounding through the back. It actually feels much better when we're able to extend. We want to try to stack shoulders over shoulder. The arms could be reaching up, the opposite left arm, or if you choose, you could bring the hand on the hip, the hand along the body. You could take the arm up overhead, or you could even do a little half bind, bringing the back of the hand to the lower back or glute. Now, this back leg, you want it to stay pretty active. So it helps if you flex toes towards the face and strongly kick back through the heel while you reach up through the top of the head or forward through the top of the head. So using opposing forces when we're standing in balance really helps. Think about pushing the floor away with everything that's touching it, reaching foot and head in opposite direction, and if the arm is reaching the arm in opposite direction. So you may almost feel as though you're being pulled in 4 different directions. To come out, we'll squeeze the belly, light bend to that right knee as we slowly make our way out. Now I'll show you what it looks like if you're using the block rather than a chair. There are actually a couple of ways that you can use the block. The first way is by placing the block down first. And remember, this is where lots of us sometimes go awry a little bit, is that seems so far away for the block and it feels a little bit scarier. We want it to be closer, so we take it closer to the foot. But then we run into that problem where we're not able to extend here, and it's really hard to balance because our foundation is very small. When we take the block out further away, then we can find extension and expansion to fully make our way into the pose. So make sure the block is the appropriate distance away so you have the space from the hip to the armpit. Once you've got that, again, left hand can come onto the hip so you can work on stacking hips one on top of the other as you come in. Right knee starts to bend, right hand makes its way to the block as the left leg floats up, flexing toes, reaching top of head away, and then deciding what you want to do with the left arm. Extend in all 4 directions. And this block can go different heights, so it can meet you wherever you're at today. You can also try hovering the hands. So this is a lot more strength building, lots of core strength to hold me here and press this shoulder back. When you're ready to move away from the wall, you can use the same supports, and I'll show you the other way to use the block to get in. So, toes turned out, you can try coming in with a little bit more engagement by holding the block in your hand, opposite hand to hip, reach out through the arm, light bend to the knee, and slowly planting the block down as we make our way into our pose. For some of us, this will feel a little bit easier, and for some of us, it'll be a little bit more challenging. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, keep lengthening out in all 4 directions, whichever variation of the pose you're doing. Now, if you're away from the wall, I'll give you one more option here. You can work on a little bind by taking the top hand back, bending the back knee, and looking to see if you can tap the heel or even hold onto the foot somewhere. And here we get a nice chest opening, we get a quad opening, and it's quite nice. To come out, again, you want to engage the core, slowly bend the front knee as much as you need to come out with control. So that was our pose of the day, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. It's a challenging pose, so make sure you do a few things to warm up. Warrior poses are a great option, or sun salutes. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer those. I hope to see you soon, either here in center or online virtually. Thank you so much for joining me today.